power. Okay, the central government has the legislative power. Um, they can make any law um, which has national implications. But in case of state are only entitled to make law um, uh, with a specific subject that is uh, listed under the state subjects. Okay, and apart from that, we have also constitutionally, the other administrative relations, administrative in administrative areas. There is a concurrent list on which both center and state can make legislation. Okay, so that is the legislative power between center and the state. Okay, but apart from the administrative relations, in legislation matter, you see particularly in abnormal situations. Okay, particularly when nation is under the emergency, or the proclamation when the emergency situation is going on, or when the center has imposed the national emergency. In that case, in that scenario, or when in any particular state that undergoes the president role. Okay, in that scenario, um, parliament can also make law. Okay, the next in the next in other instances, when a state government asks the union, asks the parliament to make a specific law. um, in that case, parliament also make law. Okay, and provided that that law is only particularly applicable to the requesting state. The rule of governor. um, the office of governor, as you know, he is the um, uh, he's the executive. State a state government's administration is carried on in the name of governor, and he has both executive authority, and also he has also authority in case of legislation. No law can be a no no legislation cannot any particular legislation cannot become a law without the assent of the governor. And in many cases, since governor is directly appointed by the union government. Okay, in let assume scenario. Okay, here in Odisha, we have a government who is it's regional parties. Okay, and BJD government, and in center there is BJP government. Okay, the governor who has been appointed as the governor of Odisha is appointed by this central government. In case of any political tussle, then government, the governor may act according to the direction of the um, central government, and yeah, the government may go against the interest of the state legislature. In that case, in that scenario, office of the governor is a create some sort of trouble for the state legislature. Uh, Then next, administrative relations. In specific areas, state government to make laws, and central government to make laws in the union list, and in concurrent list, both central government as well as state government make rule and regulation. And next is the financial status of the states. Okay, for financial without financial support, no government cannot, no government um, work. Okay, not about no government can work without the financial support. And in many cases, for financial, for the requirement of finance for the fulfillment of financial requirement, okay, state government look to the central government, and and in that matter, central government exercise its authority or its superiority over the state, um, and that is also if a state government is ruled by the opposition parties, in that case also the concerned state is neglected by the center. Okay, and next, the area of tension between union and state relations, tension area in the union and state relation. Uh, as I mentioned, the appointment of many of these offices, such as take the example of the office of collector. Okay, collector is a is appointed by the central government. His service term and condition are ruled by the um, union government. Okay, and but he give his service to the state, and all its expenditure incurred from the state treasury. Okay, and uh, similarly, the office of the governor, and in case of interstate river dispute, they are also center has a specific role to play, and in many cases, central government take a petition position, which may affect the interest of the concerned state. So next is interstate relations. That means relation between state and other states. Okay, um, uh, you know, for a better relationship with um, our neighboring state. Okay, for all sort of for trade, it may be for trade, commerce, or maybe for communication. We need to have good relationship with the neighboring states. Okay, and particularly you see there appear so many disturbances between states. Take the example of Odisha and Chhattisgarh and um, like Odisha or Andhra Pradesh. There are several interstate, river, okay, river, and where for any in case of any development issues or in case of when a state, like in case of Polavaram project, okay, that is being constructed um, in Andhra Pradesh, okay, and which has huge ecological or environmental impact on the territory, administrative territory of Odisha. In that case, arbitrary decision of a particular state, maybe in case of Andhra Pradesh, if Andhra Pradesh take a unilateral decision, it may hamper the interest of the Odisha, and which is not desirable. In order to resolve this kind of issues, in order to establish good relation, interstate relation is very much important. And in this matter, uh, you know uh, uh, state always tries to resolve their issues bilaterally, or in case they fail, the center has also a role to play in these issues. Next, moving to Unit 5, Development of State System. development of state system. Okay, uh, you all, you know, the state where uh, starting from pre-independent period, um, if you see, um, there is no clear-cut demarcation of the state boundaries. Okay, under British Empire, it was uh, it's a kind of confusing situation. He one states, one particular regions, or one particular states territory where start and where begin. It was not clear that much um, clearly distinguishable. But in the post-independent period, um, you know, starting from 1960s onward, many of the uh, demand for a state based on linguistic identity, where they emerge all over India, under which um, uh, the state like in Gujarat was created because of its linguistic identity. Similarly, prior to, in particularly, in case of Odisha also get its separate identity because of its language and its cultural uniqueness. Even prior, we India get independence from the colonial forces. Okay, the other particularly in case of northeastern area, you would see how many of the communities, tribal communities, uh, take the example of Naga communities. Okay, Naga communities, they are spread across three states. Okay, like Manipur and Nagaland and Meghalaya. Okay, the Naga communities, they demand their unique uh, unique state identity. However, it may be politically difficult for other states uh, to surrender to the demand of the Naga people. And because of this, demand of Naga people's demand for a separate statehood based on their ethnic identity has become a major area of tension in the state of north in all over in northeastern state. The other reason for the demand for other region for the statehood demand is linked to the development and underdevelopment issues. Okay, you would see uh, many of the states, mostly in eastern India, they are economically not that much advanced in comparison to state of Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra or Gujarat. Okay, and these backward states, okay, they have huge resources that are underutilized in order to give boost to its economic. They always demand special status and special considerations from the state, and doing that, they want these communities demand special statehood. Take the example of Jharkhand. Okay, earlier it happens to be the part of Bihar state. Okay, and Jharkhand, though it has huge resources, mineral resources, but still it remain one of the most backward regions, a tribal dominated area, tribal community majority in that state. Still, it is, and it is, the area has huge resources. Despite that, um, they didn't get the actual benefit out of this mineral reserves or the economic activities that were carried on in those areas. Okay, in order to give boost to their economic activities, um, so they demanded separation from Bihar state. Bihar state. The idea was that um, uh, the Bihari dominance of people dominance of people from mostly the leader of the Bihar, they always try to exploit the resources of the tribal areas, and they never keen to give importance for the development of the tribal people. So under this consideration, the tribal people, they demand the Jharkhand Mukti, the movement. You would study in the further unit the movements, protest movement. Okay, the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha was created, and it demanded separate statehood for the state of Jharkhand. Similarly, in case of Uttarakhand, Uttarakhand happens to be part of Uttar Pradesh earlier, and because of its geography and the specific ethnic features of these hilly tribe peoples, they demanded separate identity in order to project their interest, in order to promote their interest and protect their own cultural and social identity. This social cultural identity, apart from the economic aspect, are also the cause of uh, um cause for the demand of separate statehood in India. Now, there are 28 states, 28 state, and 8 union territories. Okay, which was not the same case when we um, uh, got independent from the colonial forces. Then, uh, you would be wondering how this what is the basis uh, uh, for the creation of new states, and how who has the authority to create such new states. uh, in the matter of creation of a new state, or the alteration of the boundary of a new state, or any change of name of a state, it is the prerogative of the central government. Central government has upper hand in deciding what would be the territory of a state, and it is all these are discussed in the parliament according to, with the majority support. A new state can be created, and any if any area they want to change or to rename anything, they can do it. So in that case, in case of states development, in case of state change, or change in the name of state, or change in the name changes in the boundary of the state, in this matter, um, uh, central government has the upper hand. Next, move to the election and electoral politics. You being student of political science, you know what is the relevance of election, and in a democracy, democracy um, without election is meaningless. And India being a democratic republic, India being a democratic republic, it is essential to have regular election in order to get its leadership, political leadership, or political executive, to carry on the administrative activities all over India. So without without election, which is impossible to fill the public offices or the offices of the executive, who not only make um, let's laws, also who implement the same for the betterment of the our society. So um, in order to complete this process, okay, you know, India uh, India is termed as the largest democracy in the world. How why it is termed so as the largest democracy? Because we have, you know, we have to run our country, we have parliament. In order to run our state, we have state legislature. Apart from that, we have like urban local bodies, we have also gram panchayat, etc. So in order to fill those public offices, we need election in a regular interval basis. Okay, you know, in every 5 year, in every 5 year, um, we have to we have to undergo the electoral process. Why? Why it is so? Because it is clearly mentioned in the constitution. All the public position has to be filled through free and fair election. Okay, and the maximum period that has been stipulated for for parliamentarian or state legislature member of the state legislature or the gram panchayat is, that is 5 year. uh, till 5 year, they would, once they get elected, they would stay in the position for 5 years. That is the provision. Mm. In order to complete those election in a regular basis, there need to have there there is a machinery who look after the electioning process, election process all over India. The highest body who look after the election process, that is called the Election Commission of India. It's a three-member body who look after the all the administrative activities concerning free free and fair election throughout our country. So um, the article, you know, in order to Article 324 to 329 in part um, 15th of the Constitution discuss all the provisions concerning to elections. Okay, um, um, it may be election for the president, for vice president, or the member of the parliament or member of the state legislative assembly. Everything, all sort of election are conducted by election commission. Okay, um, the provision of the election commission is categorically mentioned under Article 324 of the Constitution. um, Under Article 324 of the Constitution of India. It vested the power of superintendence, direction, control, and conducting the election to the Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies, etc. And uh, then, okay, in order to conduct the electioneering system, electioneering process in state level, there is another office that is called Chief Electoral Office, CEO, or Chief Electoral Officers. Okay, who has the responsibility to supervise the election work in the state and union territories. Okay, and that is the in order to supervise the electoral process, particularly in the district level, there is another officer deputed, that is district election officer, and there's a returning officer, and the electoral register office, etc. These are the some of the offices who conduct elections. Okay. Um, uh, the function of the election commission, I think you might have know quite aware of that, like not only supervising on the election, electioneering system, it also look into the other aspects, how all the members or contestants get a level playing field when they are in electoral frame. Okay. Um, First thing is that in order to ensure the election process is conducted free and fair manner, they they also uh, deploy some observer. Okay, so in order to see if any in any constituency rigging or some electoral malpractice is going on. The other thing is that in order to get elected, many of the candidates or the contestant, they use money. Okay, use money to bribe the voter and to bribe the media to develop opinion in favor of them. Okay, to that means the money power and muscle power has a huge role uh, in deciding a particular candidate success in the electoral contest. Okay, to curb this, misuse of huge money power or the manipulations. Okay, electoral election commission also employ some of the expenditure observer, general observer, police observer, and awareness observer. These are the um, um, some of the ways through which election commission try to uh, provide a better or a level playing field to all the candidates who are contesting in the election. It also election commission also decide the schedule of the election, um, time of the election. Everything is one uh, determined or decided by the election commission. Once the code of conduct for election is declared, all the administrative control are transferred to the election commission. Um, then voting pattern. Voting pattern, you know, uh, without voting, without voting, democracy is meaningless, or the electioneering process is meaningless. Okay, in order to ensure mass scale, in order to ensure mass scale participation in the election process. Okay, election commission election commission adopt so many um, policies, such as it launches awareness campaigns, campaign uh, to motivate the voter to turn out in a large number to exercise their opinion. Okay. Um, the when it comes to pattern of voting, pattern of voting, you would see. Take the example of urban and rural. Okay, you would see in comparison to rural area, in urban center or in metro cities, um, less number of voters turn out to cast their votes. Take the example of Mumbai or Delhi, or in case of Bhubaneswar. Here you would find hardly 50% of the registered voter that come the visit to the polling station to register their opinion. But in case of the backward areas or in rural area, you would find surprisingly some constituencies voting percentage above 70%. Okay, and out of those things, you would see the people who are less educated or economically not that much well off, they are more keen to register their opinion in election process. Yes. The determinants of electoral behavior. Next, going to moving to the determinants of electoral behavior, you would see uh, in India. In case of India, you would see uh, caste, community, economic interest are major determinants. Major determinants when it comes to exercise their um, um, opinion. Voting, um, voting behavior, which you can call the electoral behavior, is a kind of it's a form of political behavior, and it implies the behavior voter in the context of election in a democratic political system. Okay, discussing or describing the voting behavior, many of the political scientists, they have given diverse opinions, such as Plano and Briggs. They define voting behavior is a field of study concerned with the ways in which people tend to vote in public election and the reason why they vote as they do. Similarly, the other political scientist, Gordon Marshall, he defines electoral behavior, uh, voting behavior, as the study of voting behavior invariably forces on the determinants of why people vote as they do and how they arrive at the decision they make. Uh, the significance, okay, that is, okay, why uh, why we need to study the voting behavior of the voters. Okay, and question would be raised, or question asked, why at all we want to know the voting behavior of the um, voters. Okay, um, in order to in order to describe that, in order to establish the significance of the uh, um, study of voting behavior, some of the point I would mention that, like that, voting behavior helps in comprehending the process of political socialization. Uh, that means how people are, um, you know, how people are get motivated to exercise their uh, opinion. If they are exercising their opinion, on which favor they are going to exercise this opinion, that would also that can be known through the assessment of the voting behavior of the voter. And the thing is, the other thing, it also help examining the internalization of a democracy as a value among the elite as well as the masses. Okay? And the other thing that it also helps to measure whether it is modern or primordial in the context of political development. Modern means uh, uh, believe in democracy, liberalism, etc. And like liberal aspects, development, economic development, um, and liberal ideas, liberal principles, uh, who are more keen to that, and the primordial things such as who believe in history, tradition, or all this tradition, and who vote on the basis of their ethnic identity or caste identity or religious identity. There are so many political parties. There are so many political parties who fought election in the name of religion, in the name of caste, in the name of cultural tradition. There are so many things. You know, they in order to get elected, um, just in order to get elected, they adopt so many ways. Okay, they raise their caste identity. Ah, you would see there are so many political parties their foundation is based on religion, like uh, uh, Shiromani Akali Dal. Okay, one political party. Ah, whose foundation or which is whose concern is to represent the Sikh communities. Okay. Similarly, in BJP also it's a considered as a Hindu party. Okay. Um, uh, because why it is called a Hindu party? Because its support base is uh, the Hindu population. Okay, the Forward Bloc or the Indian Muslim League. All these political parties, they have religious foundations. Okay, the religious specific on the basis of their specific religious identity, they are formed and they mostly try to um, um, address the interest of these specific communities. Okay. Apart from that, starting from 1980s, you have the emergence of so many uh, caste-based parties in India. Okay. For the example, Samajwadi Party. Okay. And uh, RJD, Rashtriya Janata Dal, and BSP. These political parties, okay, BSP, the political its support base is Dalit or scheduled caste. Okay. Similarly, in case of um, Samajwadi Party, its support base is OBC, other backward caste, and Muslims. Okay, and Congress is termed as an umbrella party in which its support base are mostly from backward communities and minority communities. all these things, in order to placate or in just to attract these kind of people. They um, they form the political parties, and uh, now they are having major say in the um, decision making process of the national policy decision, say in national policy matter and politics as well. Det- okay, the determinants. Okay, these are the major determinants of the major determinants of the determinants of electoral behavior. Next is determinants of electoral behavior. Um, you would see first is caste, and next is religion, then third language. Okay, there are so many political parties formed on the basis of their linguistic identity, such as you would see mostly in South India, DMK, in Tamil Nadu, TDP, Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh, and also another, Telangana Rashtra Samiti. All these, their foundation is based on the language, linguistic considerations. Then region, regionalism and sub-regionalism play an important role uh, in voting behavior. Okay. Then personality. Okay. The charismatic personality of the party leader play an important role in electoral behavior. People votes for a top leader. Whatever may be the party, they choose. Uh, they vote in favor of political party who is leading by a particular charismatic leader. Okay, today BJP and Modi, Prime Minister Modi. Okay, so without Prime Minister Modi, BJP is meaningless because of his charismatic leadership. Okay, uh, people voted hugely in favor of him, considering he is going to bring some changes in the country. Similarly, in earlier time, Nehru, Indira Gandhi, uh, um, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, all these leaders are the center of attraction for the Indian voter. Okay, they voted even without knowing who is the member who would be the member from the respective constituencies. They voted for the specific voted to this those leader, charismatic leader, like Atal Bihari Vajpayee, maybe, or in case of Modi. Okay. Take the example of Odisha or Delhi. Okay. Here in Odisha, people hugely voted in favor of Biju Janata Dal. Biju Janata Dal is nothing without the leadership of Chief Minister Navin Patnaik. Similarly, Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi is nothing without the position of Arvind Kejriwal. Okay, this leader um, draws the attention of the majority of the voter, and in their name, voter exercise their opinion. So that is how leaders have personality has a huge role um, changing the voting behavior. Then next is that money. Money is essential bribing voters. Okay, and creating favorable condition in favor of a contestant. Money, without money, it is impossible to be in electoral fray in India. Then performance of the ruling party. Okay, supposing a political party, um, uh, suppose a candidate is contesting. He, if he is contesting from a particular party ticket, many cases voter they consider if that the political party which has given ticket to a particular candidate, whether it is performing or providing good administration or not. Okay, under that consideration, also people vote for a candidate. Then party ideologies. Okay? And in India, nobody, you would find a single person who don't have any affiliation to any ideology. Okay, and mo- uh, in a country, we believe in discuss, debate, okay, and we also we have diverse opinion. Okay, we have diverse mm, religious affiliation. We have some people believe in liberal ideas, and other believe in traditional aspects. Okay, more conservative ideas. Okay, these are these are these idea or these ideologies has a greater role in change or motivating a particular uh, voter. Okay, we have left organization or the communist parties. Okay, which we call the leftist parties. Okay, which believe in uh, um, drastic change in the society, and we have uh, some rightist political parties. Okay, you can term the rightist political parties like BJP, Akali Dal, or Shiv Sena. These parties who are whose support base is uh, the religious communities, for specific religious communities, and they believe in those old tradition and custom. Okay, through their political activities, they try to cultivate their those tradition. Okay, and the liberal political parties who are not align with any specific ideas. Okay, they believe in um, freedom, they believe in secularism and the liberty and universal brotherhood, fraternity. All these political. There are so many political parties in India, particularly uh, at state level. You would find so many political parties like BJD here in Odisha, or Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, and Samajwadi Party, uh, uh, or so many so forth. Okay. Apart from that, we have also national. There are political parties, national political parties. Okay, like Congress. Okay, who believe in liberal ideas. Okay, so on that consideration, because I would say on political ideologies, people are more likely to vote to the political parties. And the other thing that influence the voting, like candidates, um, sex. It is assumed that women are less likely to be get elected in the election. So always political parties they give more of their tickets to the men, and young old consideration is also there. Okay, people people earlier time. Okay, people used to.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes sir.
ସାର୍ କେବଳ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଗୋଟିଏ ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଭିଜିବୁଲ୍ ହେଉଛି, ଆଉ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ତ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା, I'm the officer.
नहीं गोटे स्लाइड खाली देखा जाउ जाउ तो कि देखा जाउ पिलांको खाली ऊपर बेटा इग्नो ड्राइव करी अपन खोली नै तापर कुछ देखा जाउ नै
अच्छा सर मैं कौन हो देखुची
पिला के कहना नै काई
अच्छा एटा गोटे सर एटा विजिबल होनी इलेक्शन एंड इलेक्टोरल पॉलिटिक्स गोटे स्लाइड अछि कैन यू
नहीं हमर अपन खाली यूएसबी ड्राइव खोली कि यूनिटी 4 5 6 7 8 करी स्टेट पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ इंडिया सेति अछि से यूनिटी 5 रे
अगेन
माने अपन देखुन जहा लिखा है सेते खाली यूएसबी ड्राइव इग्नो तापर से लिखा है खाली यूनिट एडाको तापर आ तो कि देखा जाउनी
एट गोटे अछि यूनिट 5 अछि
नहीं अपन खाली यूनिट देखा अपन स्लाइड की देखा जाउनी
ओहो
तक अपन ओपन खोलो डबल क्लिक करके ओपन करी ना हो
अच्छा अच्छा सर देखो सर
पिला माने भी किछ कहउना
एटा विजिबल होनी सर एटा तो
नहीं अपन जरा क्लिक कर जो अपन कोटा पढ़बे यूनिट 4 पढ़बे
ओके
तो यूनिट
आई
4 5 6 7 8 ना कोटा पढ़बे 1 2 3 पढ़बे
6 टा
जोटा
सर
पढ़बे सेटा पर डबल क्लिक करबे ना
आज्ञा एटा वर्तमान कंटिन्यू करछि यूनिट 6 टा
नहीं अपन यूनिट 6 अपन स्लाइड कोटा अपन मन जो
ए गोटे स्लाइड रे सर सबोडा अछि 4 5 6 7
काई स्लाइड है ओपन क्लिक करना ओपन करना क्लिक करनु तो ताको
अच्छा सर क्लिक तो होची
डबल क्लिक करले हो ना
ओके ओके आउथर नले मु देखुची सर से शेयर करछि नले
हां फिर करी डबल क्लिक करके ओपन करो आया
ओके सर window that is सर असले की सर सर एटा देखा जाउछि की गोटे स्लाइड आपन देखा जाउछि की देखि पारछन्ते की
हेलो
सर देखि पारछन्ते की गोटे स्लाइड
बंधु आपण से पावर पॉइंट जोटे अछि ओपन करंतु ना
आज्ञा
पावर पॉइंट काई अपन
एटा
पावर पॉइंट जोटा आप डबल क्लिक करंतु
हां सर एटा तो डेस्कटॉप रे देखुछि आ ओके
नहीं आपण बतन आपण खोलिछन्ती सुनंतु आपण खोलिछन्ती यूएसबी ड्राइव पर इग्नो खोलिछन्ती इग्नो पर
आज्ञा
यूनिट ड्राइव सब देखा जाउची जोटा देखा जाबन जोटी जोटी जो जगह रे आपण स्लाइड अछि से जगह को जाकी ताको डबल क्लिक करनु खोलिबो डबल क्लिक
ओके
करंतु
आज्ञा खोली
सुनंतु
खुलला
रुहंतु खोलिनी हमु देखा जाउनी
असलेक सर
काई आपण से स्लाइड खोल माने आपण जोटा पर डबल क्लिक कले सेटा खोलिनी तबे
ओ कोन इश्यू होची सर जानि होनी ताले
ना राइट क्लिक करके ओपन करनांती राइट क्लिक करंतु ताको ओपन करंतु
ओके सर यस can you see now sir is it visible to you sir
नो सर आपण प्रेजेंट ना बटन क्लिक करू ना आपण काली जिंदी करथिले
आज्ञा सर ओके
काली जिंदी करथिले सेमिति करू प्रेजेंट ना
ओके
बटन क्लिक करकी
हां Is it visible now?
Is available
Sir,
on the
ଏବେ ଦେଖିଲେ କି?
website.
slide ଖୋଲନ୍ତୁ।
Whether the CS
ଏବେ sir
7
ଦେଖିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି କି?
CPC form is available on the website.
ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିକି ଆଜ୍ଞା ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଟାକୁ ଖୋଲନ୍ତୁ। ଗୋଟେ ଫାଇଲ ଯେମିତି ଖୋଲା ଯାଉଛି ଫାଇଲଟା।
Sir, am I audible?
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
Can you hear me?
ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିପାରୁଛି। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କୋଉଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କର କୋଉଠି ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଅଛି ଆପଣ କହୁନାହାନ୍ତି?
ସେଇଠି ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ୟୁଏସ୍ ଡ୍ରାଇଭ୍ ରେ
ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଏମିତି 1 2 3 4 ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି।
ଇଗ୍ନୋ ୟେସ୍।
ଜିନିଷଟା ଅଛି କୋଉଠି?
ଇଗ୍ନୋରେ ଗୋଟେ
ସେଇଟାକୁ
ଅଛି।
କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ତାପରେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି 4 5 6 7। ଓକେ।
ଆପଣ ସେଇଟା ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ନହେଲେ ଓପନ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ। ହଁ।
Available on the website. That is the question.
ଓକେ।
ଓପନ୍ ହେଲା କି?
ହଁ ସାର୍ ଓପନ୍ ତ ହଉଛି।
କାଇଁ ଆମକୁ ତ ଦେଖାଯାଉନି। ଓହୋ।
Yes sir. Yes sir.
ଆପଣ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
Should I repeat the question?
ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ ପିଲାମାନେ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି କାହାକୁ?
CPC, there is supposed to be having a revised form.
ପିଲାମାନେ କାହାକୁ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି?
Available on the website.
ନୋ ଦେଖାଯାଉନି। ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍।
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
ଭିଜିବୁଲ ନୋ ସାର୍ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ ସେୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି, ସେୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଟାକୁ ଯୋଉ କରିଛନ୍ତି,
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ତାକୁ ହୋଲ୍ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ନା ପାର୍ଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି?
ଏଟା ସାର୍ ପାର୍ଟ ଥିଲା ସାର୍। ଓକେ ଆଉ ଥରେ ମୁଁ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରୁଛି ନହେଲେ।
ଆପଣ ସେୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ। କଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ?
ଓକେ ମୁଁ ଆଗେନ୍ ଆଇ ଏମ୍ ଟ୍ରାଇଂ। ଓକେ ସାର୍।
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓରେ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲା ପରେ ଏ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କରିଛନ୍ତି ନା ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି?
ଏ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କରିଥିଲି ସାର୍। ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କରିବି ନା ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କରିବି?
ଆପଣ ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କଲେ, ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଓକେ।
ଏଣ୍ଟାର ହଉଛି ନା
ହଁ
ନାଇଁ?
ସାର୍। ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଆସିଲା।
ଏଣ୍ଟାର କଲେ
ଦେନ୍ ସେୟାର।
ହଁ ସେୟାର କରନ୍ତୁ।
Can we wind up?
ସେୟାରଟା ସାର୍ ଏଠି ନଉନି ସାର୍। ରିସିଭ୍ କରୁନି।
ନହେଲେ ତାହେଲେ ଏ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କରନ୍ତୁ।
I think so. Yes, left.
ଏ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କଲେ ନଉଛି?
ଏ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କଲେ
I
ଆସୁଛି।
think sorry for the inconvenience. All
ଏ
the
ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ
deciding
କଲି
members of
ଦେନ୍ ୟୁଏସବି ଡ୍ରାଇଭ୍ କୁ ଯାଇକି ଯୋଉଟା କି ଅଛି ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଟା ଅଛି ଯୋଉଠି ତାପରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲି।
problem or some disturbance.
ଓପନ୍ କରୁଛି।
ହଉ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲା ପରେ ଏବେ କଣ ବାହାରିଲା?
ଓପନ୍ ଆସୁଛି। ଓପନ୍ ଅପସନ୍ ଏଇଟା କରିବି ନା ତା ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ସେୟାର ଆସୁଛି ସେଇଟା କରିବି ସାର୍। ଓପନ୍ କରୁଛି। ଓପନ୍ କଲା ପରେ ନାଉ पेज इज देयर।
हाँ
ओके
जो पेज देखा जाଉଛି ତାକୁ ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ଖୋଲୁନି କିଛି ୟୁନିଟ୍ 4 5 6
ସେଇଟା
ଏଟା ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ଖୋଲୁନି କିଛି?
ହଁ ସାର୍ ସେଇଟା ଆଉ ଓକେ ଲେଟ୍ ମି ଟ୍ରାଇ अगेन।
ଆପଣ ସେ ୟୁଏସବି ଡ୍ରାଇଭ୍ ରୁ ଆଣିକି ନିଜ ଲ୍ୟାପଟପ୍ ରେ ଡେସ୍କଟପ୍ ରେ ଓପନ୍ କଲେ ହୁଅନ୍ତା।
ओके
ଏବେ ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ କଣ ହଉଛି ଏଟା?
ओके सर आउट में ट्राई कर प्रेजेंट नाउ ए विंडो
ଆପଣ ସେଟା କପି କରିକି ଆପଣ ପେନ୍ ଡ୍ରାଇଭ୍ ରୁ କପି କରି ଆପଣ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡେସ୍କଟପ୍ ରେ ରଖନ୍ତୁ।
ओके सर
ପେନ୍ ଡ୍ରାଇଭ୍ ରୁ କପି କରି ଡେସ୍କଟପ୍ ରେ ରଖନ୍ତୁ।
ओके 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 रखिली सर तापरे
ହଁ ତାପରେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓ କରନ୍ତୁ।
प्रेजेंट नाउ
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓ ସେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓ ରେ ପୁଣି ସେ ଇଏଟା କରିବେ ୱେ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କରିବେ ଆଉ।
ए विंडो
କାଇଁ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓ କିଛି ଆସୁନି ଦେଖାଯାଉନି।
ଏଥିରେ सर ଆସୁନି
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଓ କ୍ଲିକ୍
डेस्कटॉप
କରନ୍ତୁ।
हां कली सर
ଆଜ୍ଞା
डेस्कटॉप ए जो विंडो टा खुलिला ସେଥିରେ डेस्कटॉप ऑप्शन टा कहीं आସୁନି।
नहीं आपण आग प्रेजेंट नाम बटन आउ थरे क्लिक हमु तो देखा जाउनी प्रेजेंट नाम बटन क्लिक करंदु
कली
तापर कोन करले
तापरे विंडो करछि
तापर कोन आछि
ସେଥିରେ କିନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ଯୋଉ ଏଟା ଡେସ୍କଟପ୍ ଟା ଆସୁନି
ସେଠି କୋड ଗୋଟେ ଡେସ୍କଟପ ଥିବ ନାଇଁ
ଓକେ
ଆପଣ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାउ ତ ହଁ ଏ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ହେଲା ଟିକେ ରୁହନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ କହିଦେବି ଏବେ ଆପଣ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ବାଁ ପଟେ ଡେସ୍କଟପ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ପୁରା ଲେଫ୍ଟ ସାଇଡ୍ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଡେସ୍କଟପ ପୁରା ଲେଫ୍ଟକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ
ଓକେ
ପୁରା ଲେଫ୍ଟ
ହଁ
ତାପରେ
ସାର୍
ଆଉ ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହଁ ହଁ ଡେସ୍କଟପ ଯାଇଥିଲେ ଆପଣ ଆଜ୍ଞା ପୁରା ଲେଫ୍ଟ କୋଉଟା ଲେଫ୍ଟ
ଏଇଟା
ଲେଫ୍ଟ ଡେସ୍କଟପ ହଁ ହେଲୋ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ
ଓକେ
ବାସ୍
ଡନ୍
କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ହଁ ଏଥିରେ କୋଉଠି ଫାଇଲ୍ ଅଛି ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଭିତରେ ଫାଇଲ୍ଟା କାହିଁ ତଳକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ନାଁଟା କଣ ରଖିଥିଲେ ଆପଣ ତଳକୁ ଯାଉନାହାନ୍ତି ଆହୁରି ଆଉ ଟିକେ
ଚ୍ୟାପ୍ଟରଟା ଥିଲା
ତଳକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ଏଠି ତଳେ ଯୋଉ ରାଇଟ୍ ସାଇଡ୍ ଯୋଉ ବଟନ୍ ଅଛି ତଳକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ଆଉ ତଳକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ଆଉ ତଳକୁ ଏଠି
ୟେସ୍
ଲେଖା ଅଛି
ସାର୍
ୟୁନିଟ୍ 4 ହଁ ଆଉ ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ
ହଁ
ୟୁନିଟ୍ 4 ଯୋଉ ଲେଖା ଅଛି ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍
ୟେସ୍
ଖୋଲୁଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଖୋଲା
ଖୋଲିଲା କି ଆମକୁ ତ ଦେଖାଯାଉନି
ଆସିଲା କି
ଖୋଲିଲା
ସାର୍ ହଁ ସାର୍ ଖୋଲା ତ
ଆମକୁ ଦେଖାଯାଉନି
ଓ ସାର୍ ତ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିପାରୁଛି ଏବେ ତ ଖୋଲିଲା ସାର୍ ସମ୍ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ
ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ଯେ ଆପଣ କଣ କଲେ କାଲି ତ ଦେଖାଯାଉଥିଲା ଆଜି ଦେଖାଯାଉନି କିଛି ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଉ କଣ ଉପାୟ ଅଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସେ ଯୋଉ ଏଣ୍ଟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କଲେ କାମ କରୁନି
ଦେଖୁଛି ଟ୍ରାଏ କରୁଛି ପୁଣି ଏଣ୍ଟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ପାଇଁ
ଏଣ୍ଟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କଲେ ଏଣ୍ଟାର
ଆରେ ସାର୍ ଏଇଟା
ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍
ନଉନଥିଲା ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି କଣ ସେଟା କି ଗୋଟେ କାମ କରୁନଥିଲା ସାର୍ ଏଇଟା ଏଣ୍ଟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ରେ ସେୟାର ଟା କାମ କରୁନଥିଲା
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଏବେ କଣ କରୁଛି ନହେଲେ ନାଇଁ ପଢେଇ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ସେୟାର କରିଦେବା ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଟା ଆଉ କଣ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
ଏବେ ଆଉଥରେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରିବେ ନା ନାଇଁ
ହଁ କରୁଛି ସାର୍ ସେଇଆ
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଥର ଟ୍ରାଏ କରନ୍ତୁ ନହେଲେ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଦେଇଦେବା କାଲି ସେମାନେ ପଢିବେ ଆଉ ଆପଣ ପଢେଇ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ
ଏବେ ସାର୍ ଦେଖିଲେ କଣ ଆସୁଛି
ଦେଖୁଛି ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଟ୍ ହଁ ଆସିଲା ତ ଏଣ୍ଟର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଏବେ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି ଆପଣ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏଣ୍ଟର
ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍
ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍
କୁ
ଆସିଲେ
ଯିବେ
ନା ହଁ ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଠି ହଁ ବାସ୍ ଅଭି ଏକ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ହଁ ହଁ
ଏବେ ଦେଖିପାରିଲେ ତ
ହଁ ସାର୍ ଏବେ ଠିକ୍
okay
ଅଛି
thank you sir okay students I was discussing the determinants of electoral behavior um, there are so many determinants I discussed like such as caste community um, money uh, money religion and even the gender and even the family relations. Okay, we have a mindset that people from good family or good family background, they they would give good administration. Under that consideration we also vote for the specific person. Okay, uh, nowadays it is discussing or debatable point that um, um, the family linkage as such, people blame that the Gandhi family has monopoly in electoral politics in electoral politics. Okay. Similarly, you would find in many states, okay, and the third generation or the descendants of the earlier ruler or earlier leader, they are now um, in the politics. They are actively participating in the politics. Okay, that is a consideration. because the people believe in the family, specific family, so they are keen to vote in favor of the candidate from that family background. And apart from that, in present context, you would find the role of media is very much important. Okay, media can make and break the fate of a contestant. Okay, if media gives good, media interpret a yeah, candidate's personality or his caliber in a positive sense, then his winning or winnability is possible. Or if media target any specific candidate with wrong intention, they can also uh, pull down, and his winning in the election is very less like. Okay, so and now the development of social media also it has a huge role in deciding the fate of a candidate, and social media play a significant role influencing the voters behavior. Okay, these are the some of the factor which influence the voting pattern and voter behavior in our in case of India. Then okay, there is next point is that the caste is a determinant of is done drawback of electoral system. You know, uh, earlier time, uh, the less number of people are likely to participate in the electoral process because of the information gap. Okay, people do not they do not didn't have the idea how to register as a voter, or how to where to cast their vote, etc. To bridge this information gap, now election commission is taking so many steps, like making the voters aware about their rights, electoral rights, and making them more aware how to register as a voter and where to vote. Before before election, you people will be getting SMS from the election of offices of the election commission to register your um, franchise. Okay, on specific date, on specific election center. Okay, these are the some of the development you would see. Okay, now in order to ensure that our democratic system become quite successful, and our officials are um, elected by genuine candidate or a potent candidate. Okay, in that direction, uh, so many electoral reform have been undertaken, um, starting from um, 1960s. Okay, you would see the result of electoral reform, such as the introduction of photo voter identity card, and uh, the other thing is that of uh, uh, restructuring of the election commission. Earlier, it was in the beginning it was a one-member committee commission. Then then there are some changes also brought into that. Now, um, now it is a election commission is a three-member body which look after this election process. in order to ensure in order to ensure free and fair election, the first law following the introduction of the constitution that deals with the free and fair election throughout India, that is called Representation of the People Act 1950. Okay, and the next you would see the Representation of the People Act 1951. Then, to streamline the electioneering, um, some of the changes also carried on. That is also called the Delimitation Act of 2002, through which the territorial uh, uh, territory of the constituency, territorial limit of the constituency, that was revised, and uh, you know um, so these are some of the um, uh, reform that was carried on in order to ensure that our democracy, our electoral democracy, flourish and become and strengthen as we grow into a mature nation ahead. Then, uh, then the political party and party system. Okay, political party and party system. Um, okay, okay, we have a democracy, and in democracy, um, it is essential to fill the public uh, offices through election process. Okay, and who are the who are uh, who could participate in those elections? Okay, here in case of India, anybody, any registered voter can participate in election process. Um, First, one can just be a voter, and he can exercise its opinion, or or a person could be a contesting candidate to a specific public offices. Okay, and apart from the individuals, okay, there are also political parties. Okay, the political parties, they fill up their they launch their candidate to participate in the electoral fray, and once they get elected, through their support they form the government, and they exercise all the authority all over, they exercise political authority, um, and exercising those authority, they make law and also execute the path, all sort of administration for the betterment of the um, uh, citizen of India. Okay. Um, so earlier time, okay, from the very beginning, if you see, uh, uh, it was it was India has one dominant political party system. As Rajni Kuthari mentioned, it was a Congress party system, or one party dominant party system, um, where all over India, maybe in its center or in the states, everywhere they have their presence. But now there are so many party emerged. Okay, through following 1960s, there are so many party emerged. Okay, India has a multi-party system. Okay, You must have knowledge about that United States of America, where there are bi-party system, where two political party, Democrat and Republican, they are the two major political party who fought in the election, and they exercise, they occupy the public offices. But in case of India, we have multi-party system, and multi-party system means that here more than one party. Okay, here we have six national parties. Okay, six national parties, and over 47 or like that, small and regional political parties. Okay, so that is the multi-party system. The other is that, many of the political, the features of the party system in India, such as one dominant party system. Earlier it was Congress dominated party system till till 1980s. It was Congress dominant party system. Following that, following Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi, there emerged so many regional parties, and they challenged the dominance of Congress party. And as of now, you would see the dominance, one dominant party system has transformed from Congress to BJP. BJP is now the most dominant party, political party in India, and it has widespread presence. Um, all over India in states as well as in center. Okay, and the other feature you would see, the party, political party in India, like, most of the political parties made maybe BJP or bearing BJP and left organization parties. The other political parties, their ideology is not that much clear cut. Sometimes their ideology, one political party's ideology, match with other political parties. Okay, bearing BJP and CPI and CPM. And as I mentioned earlier, the leadership. Okay, the leadership, the charismatic leadership. Here, in many cases, personality called, or people believe in particular personality is a major factor in India. The other thing is that traditional factors such as religion, language, etc., are also factor in party system. Then emergence of regional parties. So many regional parties, like, we in Odisha we have BJD, and Akali Dal maybe in Punjab, AGP in Assam, National Conference in Jammu and Kashmir, and JDU in Bihar, and RJD in Bihar, and these are the things, you know, and these are the political parties that emerge in India's political spectrum. Then um, these, emergence of these numerous political party, they transform the party system in India into from a single or one party dominance to a fragmented party fragmented state party system. Um, why it is fragmented? Earlier it was Congress, and now you would see in states many of the uh, there are emerged so many political state, regional political parties, and these political parties are headed by some of the top leadership. Okay, they may have linkages, earlier linkages to the Congress or some BJP party, Bharatiya Janata parties. Okay, they may have um, um, secede from those political parties, and in order to seek their political ambition, they form a new political parties. That is the scenario as you would see in case of India. Okay, and mm, the major plague in Indian politics is that of faction and defection. What is defection? You must be aware of the fact that what is the political situation in Rajasthan is going on right now. Okay, some faction, some group of the Congress party, they 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 goes against the party mandate, parties rulings, and they are seeking some sort of um, political alliance with the opposition parties in order to get political advantage. The same thing also happened in the recent past 4 months back. The same thing happened in case of um, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, then in till January February it was um, Congress-led government there. Okay, and some of the MLA they switch over their allegiance from the ruling Congress party to the BJP. Resultantly, Congress party fell to prove its majority in the House, and subsequently the Kamal Nath government has to resign from the government. And as the BJP, they got the support of those members. Again, they demand they demand to form the government in the state. That is happening. Okay, in order to check this kind of this faction and diffraction, and so many laws that has been introduced, that is called anti-defection law, to check these issues, to check this faction and diffraction. But as of now, though the law is there, but still the situation is similar. There is no um, change in the scenario. And you would see in Indian party system, there is a lack of effective opposition. In present parliament, you would see opposition has no role. Okay, everywhere, wherever government, the ruling government want to do whatever they want to do, they do, and there is less you know voice against the policies of the government. Congress, is lost its required majority uh, to be the leader of the opposition. Okay, earlier it was that in order to uh, hold the position of leader of opposition, that a particular party has to win at least in the 10% of the seats. But now uh, that rule was changed, revised. Okay, now the next highest the party who has the next highest membership in the house is considered as the leader, who are entitled to get the leader of opposition position. um, so these are the some of the features, uh, uh, features of the state party system in India. Now move to unit 1, pattern of dissent and protest movement in Indian states. India, with a diverse nation, with a diverse society, often our interest clash with others. Okay, uh, we have religious interest, we have communal interest, we may have economic interest. Okay, it often it conflict with others. uh, You know, following, okay, India is union of state. Union of state, that means prior to independence you would see how India was fragmented. Okay, it was under so many under the rule of so many princely state, apart from the British colony, French colony, and Portuguese colony. After that, it came after following the independent, we came together and united um, to form a Indian Union. Okay, and though we are politically united, still um, we are living in a fragmented society where we have diverse religious identity, cultural identity, diverse economic interest, and diverse political ambition as well. Okay, and you know, the take the example of um, the secessionist movement in peripheral state in India. Okay, like in state of Jammu and Kashmir and Manipur, Assam, and even in Punjab and in Tamil Nadu as well. Also, people, they want to have their own political um, ambition, political identity. For that, they are fighting against India, Indian Union or Indian government. Okay, and we have within country we have major threat from Naxals. Okay, Naxals. Okay. Though Naxal started as a movement against the zamindars and the big landlords and money lenders. Okay, subsequently, um, they amass huge power, and now they are challenging the Indian state in most of the states, starting from Odisha till Bihar, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and in majority of the states, their presence is quite prevalent. Okay, they're demanding a unique kind of administration and which is quite against the constitution provision that we have in India. Okay, apart from that, you would see uh, you would see the protection movement, environmental protection movement, uh, which is linked with the development process. Okay, wherever any kind of industrialization process start to take place, there this kind of issues arises because people fear loss of livelihood, loss to their ecology environment, and for the protection or promotion of their interest, they um, fought against this state machinery. Uh, you know, the one example, like in Odisha, is Niamgiri Bachao Andolan. Okay, in other in, in, in case of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, you would see Narmada Bachao Andolan, who Medha Patkar, led this movement to to protect the interest of the people in the valley, Narmada Valley areas. Okay. Similarly, you would see that the Chipko movement in the hilly area of on the foothill of the Himalayas, where people they have fought very strongly against the state to protect those forest, okay, because they consider it is essential um, mm, to maintain the biodiversity in those areas because it is linked to their interest, economic and cultural interest, and these are some of the important thing, and the movement um, which you would see prevalent in the uh, in India. Apart from that, you would see earlier I discussed how people fought for their own socio-cultural identity. Okay, particularly in the central India, in the state of Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, which was earlier is a part of Madhya Pradesh, but Chhattisgarh Mukti Morcha, a organization, a political organization who fought for the preservation of the Adivasi identity and the promotion of the Adivasi interest. Okay. Similarly, you would see uh, the self-determination movement in Nagaland. Okay, Naga people, they consider they are different culturally, socially, and in every aspect they are different from India. Under that consideration, they are now fighting. They were for a long time they were in a fighting mode against the government of India. However, through some of the deliberations or persuasion, government of India how so far placate their interest and they satisfy their interest, and now uh, government of India and the Naga are in a ceasefire position, ceasefire mode, and through a political settlement, you know that secessionist or self-determination movement in northeastern state where somehow India got its upper hand. Then the anti-development movements. Okay, anti-development movement is closely interlinked to the industrialization. You heard about the movement, farmer movement against development, Tata's development project in West Bengal, the Nandigram, the Jhargram, Nandigram, where so many people they objected to the development of industry. Okay, considering because that area happens to be the fertile land, uh, and being fertile land, it is closely linked to their livelihood. Okay, though people in India, people have very much emotional attachment to our land where we are born and where we are brought up. If any development process happen, and if we are forced to um, uh, go away from that area, then it is not easily taken by the people. Okay, so in order to, because of our economic interest, because of our emotional cultural linkages, hardly we want to move away from the land where we born and brought up. Okay, this consideration is a major cause of tension between people and states here in India when it comes to developing, or when it comes to industrialize, to develop that area, to do some economic activities in a particular area. You heard about um, the POSCO project in Odisha. Okay, at that time, it was the largest foreign direct investment in India. Okay, but after one decade, okay, one decade elapsed, still that project implementation of that project could not be successful. Resultantly, POSCO had to withdraw its venture from Odisha. Okay, why it happened? Because people, though government was keen to develop the coastal belt of Odisha through introduction of these large scale industries, but people in that area, um, you know, um, they didn't like that. Okay, and resultantly, government has to surrender before the will of the people, and that is how the chapter of the POSCO steel plant in Odisha was um, completely come to its conclusion. This anti-development movement is not only confined to um, not only confined to Odisha only or West Bengal. You would see this movement is quite um, prevalent in more advanced states such as Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu, the not you know um, the project, the Kalpakam project, Kalpakam power project, the nuclear power project. You, before its development, okay, before its initiation, yeah, it experienced huge uh, huge protest by the local community uh, as well as the international community. Also, they are associated with the local communities. Okay, the rule of in the age of globalization, a particular decision is not shaped by a local community, but it has the global connection as well. You would see how the global entities such as Greenpeace and some of the other international NGOs, they are adding financially and legally and morally to the protest movement, anti development movement, protest movement in India, particularly in case of um, the nuclear project in Andhra, that is in Tamil Nadu, that happens. Okay, because it could be the corporate rivalry or the corporate interest could be the one reason why they are indulging in this kind of protest. Um, so as we are running out of the time today, uh, the next chapter, just I'm going to that is in chapter 9. I will give some hint in this chapter. In the next class, I will conclude this chapter and the other chapter as well. Okay. Then unit 9, that is developmental issues and regional disparities. Okay. The development is a relative concept. Okay. Um, Particularly, development we consider in terms of economic development. Okay, or as a student of political science, you know the development, the concept of development on underdeveloped. Developed means uh, the having huge uh, huge material or huge economic resources. Okay, and those who are deprived or who are lacking of those finances, maybe, or maybe resources, we turn them underdeveloped countries. Mostly, Western countries are developed because of they have the materialistic gathering with them, and the countries from the third world or the developing nation, we are considered as the underdeveloped, underdeveloped nations, because we do not have that much economic strength. We do not have that much, technology based industry, and our production, our consumption, our per capita income, our GDP are not that much uh, is like to that much similar to that of the Western countries, such as can we compare the economic strength of like country like India and America, United States of America? Simply not, because in many ways, in many ways, in terms of economy, they are many times bigger to what India is. Okay, and apart from that, development is a development and underdevelopment. It is a relative concept. Okay, we may be we may be underdeveloped in comparison to the bigger countries in the bigger countries of the Western world. Still, we are far ahead of the countries in our neighborhood or countries um, in the third world. Okay, so that is the that would be discussed later on, and you know um, now you all must have heard about the sustainable development. Sustainable development. Okay, when in order to we need to meet the need of meet the present need of our generation, and in order to meet the need of our present generation, we are exploiting the natures, exploiting the available resources, without the consideration that the resources are limited. Okay, and it would be finished over a time period. Okay, and what would be the impact? What would be the consequence when there are no resources to meet the requirement of the forthcoming generation or our future generation? What would be their situation? uh, uh, just in order to satisfy our greed, we are exploiting our nature immensely, without the consideration that what would be the consequence or what would be the fate of the forthcoming generation. This this consideration, or this thinking process, develop a idea, um, that is that you can say the idea of sustainable development practices. That means when you use the resources, available resources, for your benefit, you have to look after the interest of the forthcoming generation. Okay, so these are the things. Um, uh, Moreover, more of this thing I would discuss in the next class. And if any question or any suggestion you people might have, you can um, ask the same to me. Now I open this session for a discussion or clarification from you students. Anybody has any question?